you don't want the right number, you contact you want a service number, you want something you have to know, somebody doesn't say, well, I'll be really call, she looks cute. Yeah, it probably some bad too, because it goes both sides of the couch, so to speak. So definitely, be aware of that and protect yourself from that possibility. And I don't know how long it runs, but it's still out there, and it has been forever now. So.
I was just going to add, there's also a website called Actors Access. Have you heard about? Because it's pretty much, it's done regionally. So there will be auditions on it for LA, there will be for Florida, there will be for the Texas area, different parts of the country. I don't know if Canada, you have Actors Access? Yeah, and they do for like the New York area, and it's a yearly subscription basically.
$60 over.
Yeah, for the year, but you do have to have the headshot, and resume to put on there. But whatever you've done, hey, anything starts a resume that you have done. And with Actors Access, there will be all sorts of opportunities, union and non-union, and sometimes there are voice gigs that they put out for. So you would always, of course, look in whatever area you live in. Most of you probably live in the Orlando area of Florida. So I think it's called the Southeast area. And so that could even be, you never know, right? If you get on that site, you really want to do it, you have your resume on there, and you have your picture, and it's a smaller, they always say that it's a smaller pond outside of like New York, LA, some of the areas. So there's sometimes it's a better opportunity, a better chance, because there's less people actively pursuing, that than in these other larger markets. So that's a way to even maybe check into that. I mean, you can always just look at Actors Access and say, hey, is this something I would want to at least try for a year? But it's a really reputable website. I've actually gotten work from it on my own. Yeah, so I submit myself for certain things that my agents don't, because I want to continuously work. And I think that's another thing. I don't think probably any of us just sit back and, I'm just going to wait for my agent to call me, and
I'm still sleeping.
Right, and we're waiting. Why isn't my agent calling? But I'm very proactive myself, and always trying to get work for myself.
And then the other thing the more specific of Actors Access is that once you become a member there and you have a picture and resume, you can have a number of pictures, it doesn't have to be just one, and some kind of resume, then you also fill out like a breakdown of the kind of roles that you want to be submitted for, your age range and type of things. So what happens is that when you have your email, and you'll receive emails with roles that might fit the demographic that you put yourself into. 25 to 35, male, et cetera, so that you'll get all the stuff that fits in that category that we email to you. And again, I don't know how much there is specifically out here. There's a lot in LA, of course, because that's kind of the mecca, that's what the place is located primarily. But that's how that works, and it's fun to sit through possibilities of what I want to submit for, and then it's your option to submit for that role. So.
Had another thought in terms of experience, and so those of you who are interested in pursuing acting professionally, be it voice work or theater, another great way to gain experience is to put your name forth at a local college or university, because there are always students, especially if they have a film department and theater department, they're looking for actors of all ages, types, and that's great experience, and often you can get some demo material out of it too. Say, I would suggest you could say, I'm happy to do this for you, would love to do this for you. Would there be any possibility that I could get a copy of this tape? That kind of, or invite people to the play, of course. And I would just say take any opportunity possible to work in theater, film, television, whatever comes up. Just look for those opportunities, create those opportunities, put yourself forward, take every class, and just keep on learning, because we're all working hard.
I was just going to, my panel last time, when we were all together, I said how shy I was when I was a kid, but I knew I wanted to be an actor. So the very first audition I went on outside of the school stuff, I was in junior high, and it was with adults, it was inner theater, and I was so scared to go and audition because I was so shy. But it's so great, I'm so glad I did it, because it helped me break the barrier. It's almost like when you just take that little step, say, okay, I want to at least try this in my life. Even if I feel nervous about it, or what if they don't like me, or what if it's not good enough, or you got to throw all that aside and just say, I'm going to at least try, because you don't fail if you try. because that's how you find out who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to do in life. And so to me, there is no failure. It's just about stepping forward and saying, do I want to try this, and see where it takes me, no matter how you feel at the moment. So it's about breaking through all the negative things we tell ourselves, because that's what keeps you back. But when you break forward and say, okay, I'm going to try this, it may not lead to acting, it may not lead to anything, but it may lead to what is next in your life.
We just keep cueing each other with ideas. Oh, you just swept another thought. Something I would share, just in terms of my life experience. I don't know if you guys had this thought, but I wish in my 20s I had had the confidence to think about producing things on my own. There were a couple of missed opportunities that I had where I was in a play and wanted to, for example, move it to New York, and we had the opportunity to do so, but I just didn't know where to start business-wise. It was a two-person play. It could have been fairly easy to produce for a very small budget, and I was petrified and inactive because of that. And I look back on that 20 years later and kind of think, wow, that would have been a really interesting opportunity. So I bring this up because, as I mentioned, I'm back at university myself, and it seems like a big thing these days to do DIY, do it yourself. So there are a lot of opportunities that I'm sure many of you are aware of, but I'm not really up to date around. Certainly, like with YouTube and the internet, there are opportunities to do things on your own. Maybe not professionally, but they're good opportunities for experience. And as I suggested, perhaps a business class, some sort to help you feel a little more confident about how you might be able to put on a play, for example. You know what, we don't have a theater, we don't have a producer, why don't we be producers? So I guess the message I share with you is, if it's something you're really passionate about, if it's an art form that you really want to have as part of your life, and if there aren't opportunities in the town that you live in or the city that you live near, create your own opportunities. Learn how to do it. Don't go into debt. You probably don't spend your own money, but I'm sure that there are people who might want to invest, or just invest people power and collective groups who might want to work with you. And I think you really can put a lot together that can enhance your experience if you're willing to put in the work. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, especially like you said with YouTube. I mean, the opportunities now that are offered to get out there, we've seen viral videos that you couldn't believe were viral videos, and these people now have, some celebrity, if nothing else. So there is that opportunity that is now offered to anyone who wants to take advantage of it. It wasn't really on the globe when we started doing this. So, and as Terry was saying, it's a terrific opportunity to take advantage. And since the cameras and the phones half the time now are capable of shooting better than we did shoot 12 years ago, and with a regular little setup, it's pretty astounding. So absolutely take advantage of the technology that we have now, and just play with it and get it out there, whatever it might be. If it's something you have an idea or a venture you want to put out there, it doesn't cost you that much. And when the heck, it can happen. Yeah.
I think we should take some burning questions out there.
You wanted to talk again. You guys are doing that, people?
Well, there's a guy that goes,
Vice man. Yes.
We have like a breakdown of what you would put on a demo. I knew you do like stock characters or a dramatic monologue or something, but what would you guys suggest?
I just asked because there are so many specialties, so to speak, it's like what would you want? The first question is, what are you trying to get? What do you want to submit for? Because if it's an agency that handles commercials, then you want to have something that has little snippets of commercials. If it's animation or cartoon stuff, then you want to have little pieces of various and sundry voices that you know, or whatever that might be, tied together. The more creative you can be without going crazy with that, as far as tying characters together, they say that's always impressive when you use a demo reel, and the characters are different, but they're still on the same theme, perhaps, and so they're tying into each other, and one seems to be commenting on the last one, saying those are creative choices that are more fun to listen to and capture someone's attention better. But it just really depends on what genre or what thing you're trying to hit. And as well as the genetic monologue, probably not too often for voiceover would you really do something like that. That would be something you have at your disposal, a theatrical audition or something for a play, something like that, just to have it ready to go. I mean, ideally, and I'm rarely just prepared, but ideally you should have a comedy monologue with the touch of your, brain, a dramatic monologue, and anything else you want to hear of. Yeah, a classical monologue as far as for theatrical work, because sometimes that's what it comes down to. Is if you want to audition for a play, they say we need a theatrical piece, or let's say classical or 1 to 2 minutes long. And then you're able to just pull on that and it's right there. So that's more for my kind of theatrical stuff that is probably voice, specific to whatever genre you want. And then again, you have, like I said, the opportunity to listen to the demos of other people to get a sense of what people are doing. Is that right, Carol?
Yeah, I was going to say as well, specifically, I would also say to make sure you do things that you know this is what I'm really good at. Because the other stuff can come later. Like say, okay, I want to try being a little creative this way. That stuff can come later. To do the voices, if there's, let's say, if you do a great British accent, but make sure it's like spot on. If you do a certain pitch, make sure you're not going too high or too low. Find the range that's best for you. And it's like you said, if you're doing something commercially, you'll want to say things, okay, I can do young dad, I can do young guy that's kind of hip, or I can do a stoner dude, surfer dude, or I can do a very professional, spokesperson. Because in the commercial, you may be a doctor, you may be a dad, you may be a funny commercial, so you want that range. With like a voiceover thing, I can do the young hero voice, I can do a villain voice, I can be this mean, guy, or I can do the crazy kind of character, so you want that kind of variety. But make sure it is within your range. Because later on, that's when the other stuff happens. But you want to just make sure they know what the best stuff you can do, so that they, oh yeah, okay, let's bring this guy in, and then, go with it.
So I have a question for Dan and Daryl, because I haven't done it down on tape in a while. Obviously because I say tape, so it's really been a while. So is it still acceptable to lift scripts from commercials that are on the air right now and then use it on your demo reel? Yeah?
It's acceptable. The only caveat, the only danger of that is if you pick something that everybody knows who did it. Because ideally, with the demo, you want it to sound as though these are things you've actually already recorded, that you're a working actor or actress, and these are demos from things that you've done. And after you've been doing it a while, that will be the truth, but in the beginning, it's not. Because there's people you go to that will supply copy, that is the things to read for the demo reel for you. And you select and you go through that copy and say, I think I can do this and this and this. So it's absolutely fine to grab something that's currently going on, but just be careful that it's not something that's so recognizable because it's like, oh, that's like, Bill Shatner did that. Yeah. That's it doesn't sound like, yeah, so that's the danger in that.
And I was thinking,
I was just saying, if you're an insanely talented writer and you can write your own copy, that also works because then it's so original. But make sure it's really, a product that they would believe that it was actually a commercial.
you might want to run that by 1 or 2 other people who are writers who you respect, and you can just edit and make it really brief. And I was just also going to, I think I recall that you and your friend are singers, right? So if you have a special skill like that, let them know it. And maybe an idea might be to, on your demo reel, include a jingle from some popular commercial. If you have somebody who can play the piano underneath it or something, and just show off that particular talent, because people will want to know singers for particular jobs they haven't done.
Who's next?
All right, this is for Terry. I'm not sure if you're aware that the Sailor Moon manga is being reprinted in the U.S. and also several countries around the world. And I was wondering what you thought about that opening up the world to a new generation of fans for Sailor Moon.
This is a moment in humility, as I admit to you, I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. But Mongo's like, okay. Okay. Is it the actual text? Is it the actual literature?
Yeah. It's like a black and white comic. Think of it
Thank you. Thank you for that education. Thank you all. Moment of supreme humility at an anime conference. Okay, so you're saying you're saying that it's being they're reprinting some of the original Japanese versions in English and distributing them more widely now? No, I wasn't aware of that. So the question is, what do I think of that? Well, if I've kind of gleaned anything from this weekend, which is fairly new to me, as you might have gathered, this experience in anime conventions, it's that the stories told in the Sailor Moon series and some of the other shows that we've been privileged to participate in have made an impact in people's lives. And I like to think, and what I seem to be hearing from people, is that a number of the Sailor Moon stories have been very inspirational and empowering for people, and especially at a certain moment in time, a lot of young people, many of them girls, but not all, and they shared a very positive message about self-esteem, personal empowerment, using your voice as a tool for social change, and being able to make a positive contribution to the world. That's what I've taken away from some of the Sailor Moon stories. And so, if that is represented in the new English version mangas that are being distributed throughout the English-speaking world, then I think that's a really great thing. And I thank you for educating me and bringing it to my attention.
I have a quick question for Terry. Okay, you brought your family, and you have two sons?
Son and a daughter.
A son and a daughter, and they're here.
Well, they're on a plane away
they're on a
from
plane.
here.
They were at the Q&A.
Yes.
Now, I was curious, here's their mom, right? Did they have any idea of other people's reactions to your voicing the character in Sailor Moon, and what was their response to it?
It was a very unexpected situation for them. It was completely new to them. They don't really know Sailor Moon. They don't really know a lot of the work that I did in previous years. I think it was sort of exciting. They loved the costumes and they're intrigued. And my son is a bit of an artist, a visual artist, so he really likes seeing some of the artwork and so on. I just wanted to say something. Thank you for asking that, because I think the three of us, I'm speaking for you, so correct me if I'm wrong. We've been in the business for a while, worked really hard at our crafts, and because of this kind of work we do, we've been accorded some kind of celebrity for some brief moment in time. And it's always a nice feeling when people respect your work and appreciate your work, because we all work hard in whatever we do and we want to be appreciated, we want to make a difference. And the odd thing about being in the entertainment industry is that you can be accorded some sort of special positions sometimes. So obviously for my kids, I'm mom. I drive them to their soccer games and their dance classes, and I make them lunches, and they found that a little bit weird, that people might want me to sign something. Because I'm used to signing their tests and the school letters and things like that. So it's unusual, but I think it's a good reminder that we all have lives. We are human beings. We just work hard at our crafts, and therefore we're afforded the luxury of coming here and joining you and kind of celebrating the work that we've been able to be a part of. But I just hope that you celebrate your own work in your own individual lives just as much, because we're all just slugging away every day trying to make a difference and do our best.
Now that we go home and think, Sailor Moon signed my report card.
All right, ready?
Okay, so going back to when we were talking about getting into the industry, I'm not sure what the industry thinks of this, but I've kind of seen fan dubs springing up where people, make their whole cast set up, and that might be a way to sort of show your experience in the anime industry, but I'm not sure if the industry thinks that's unprofessional or what. But
Like to, they would send it out with the demo reel, the pictures.
The fan dubs are when, when the fans take an anime series and then they dub them themselves. They get their friends, they get together, and they dub them. So they have their own dub. So it's a fun one. Fan dub. It's a fun dub, but it's fan dub. But it's fun. I don't think the industry is. I don't think they feel that it's a negative thing. why not? It's fun, and you know, it's a way to practice. It's, you know, I had some friends who wanted to, that I met at a con, who wanted to, they weren't into voice acting, but they were like guests at a con and they were interested. And I said, well, you know what the best way to do it? And I actually had a script of one of mine, Opening King Gainer, and he had gotten the first episode, so I gave him the script. And so he was able to bring the script home, and I said, because this is a way you can see the words and also see the mouth flaps and learn sort of how to do it on your own. You know, so that's actually a way to do it, right? Is to have, you know, you might have to transcribe it yourself, but that's it. Or you may rewrite the story. That's another creative way. So for me, I don't have an issue with it or a problem, and I haven't heard of anything else that happens. As long as you keep liking the ones you do.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a great idea as far as experience and something fun to play with. I don't know, and again, I don't know the reaction of the potential agent or whatever to listening to that or to watching that, because it would take a while to look at that to gain a full perspective of what's being offered, and they generally either don't have or don't want to spend a long time to look at something. But as far as from the context of being a valuable training tool and something to really get your chops down and something to play with, awesome. I think it's a great thing. I don't know if the powers that be, and I don't mean to damper on it because I don't know, but I would guess that they wouldn't spend enough time that it would take to really look at the whole thing and get a real sense of what you were doing there. And plus, unless it's just one person doing it, they have so many things to look at. It's like, you don't want to give them a smorgasbord. You want you. You want them to look at you and listen to you. So that's the only negative side of that I can see. But as far as doing something and being creative with it and having it, absolutely, I think it's a great idea.
All right. Got Terry out. Oh, it's good. We like it. That's why we're here. This is a question panel. That ain't not a question panel.
I'm not interested in voice acting, but like just for like future, like looking to the future, do you guys get like royalties or something if they replay your series or if they use your voice over and over again?
We get millions and millions of dollars.
Like DVD sales and
No.
everything. Like,
Oh,
I
no.
know it's
Well,
just when you
no.
can like use the voice.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, like you look at a video game, like I did Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which sold, you know, millions and millions. Right? I mean, but basically I go in, I get my session fee, and then, okay, then they kick you out the door, and, you know, that's it. So, yeah.
If you're working on a series, it's a new series, there is a potential for individuals.
But it's rare to, I mean, was that with anime?
As far as the hierarchy of voiceover for original animation, that's not already done in the language, or it's not already originally recorded in the language and dubbed into English. The original animation that are union jobs, that's where you make some money and get the residuals.
But like Toy Story, and that's why you see the big names and
Right, that's why there's all celebrities, because they gotta find a new way to make money and they don't have to work as hard.
so they say.
Or so they say. So yeah, but as far as video games go, we get a session fee and we're out the door, and it's tragic but true. Because a lot of the thought as to why they don't need to pay the actors anymore is that they spent years putting this together, and they spent hours of time and everything else, so that we just spent a few hours and they're spending years or whatever to do that, so they don't feel that it's necessary to give us any extra compensation. Do you hear what I'm doing? I would think so. Yeah. So that's the story on that. There are residuals out there, but